Sin! Hey Internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to Seduce Me the Demon War Matthew's Route. And in the previous episode, shit hit the fan literally, because now Matthew, it's revealed that Matthew was possessed by his father, and he ended up killing a guard, and Diana captured him, and now is going to perform surgery on him. I don't know exactly what that means, but I just know that things are not going well right now, so let's continue. That night, I slept alone. I was filled with different emotions: worry, sadness, anger, betrayal, horror. Everything mixed and danced within me as I let out a heavy sigh. This would be a long night. I was barely able to eat or leave my room with the following 2 days. I stayed in my room, trying to calm down and take everything in. Matthew was a prisoner, and Diana had to pull the control out of him somehow. How she was going to do that, I couldn't be sure, but I was certain that this was going to be a large challenge, especially since the Demon Lord was involved. The other wives visited me, helping me eat and go through what I had trained. That's nice of them, at least they're helping. However, my mind focused on Matthew. I was worried sick for him. I wanted him to be free and I wanted him to be okay. I knew that this wasn't the case for the moment, but I knew that it had to happen eventually. After all, we were days away marching to the siege. I gripped my hair and closed my eyes, trying to remember if there was anything I did to help stop the control. But I was there for him, but it slowly dawned on me. I was there for him. His love for me was what kept him focused. I was there each time he lost control, and I managed to bring him down from that. It was something, a risky something, but something nonetheless. Uh-oh. I rushed out of the room into the grand hall, seeing Diana continue to stare into the barrier. Inside, however, was Matthew, sitting cross-legged and smirking at Diana. Matthew? Diana and Matthew looked over to me, surprised to see me enter.
Human, what are you?
I ignored Diana and continued forward, standing in front of the barrier and staring into Matthew's eyes. Oh, she's gonna try to bring him back. Oh, dear. Matthew, it's me. Wake up and get a hold of yourself. Matthew stood in shock before smirking and crawling over with a pout.
Aw. Is the little human upset that she can't get fucked by her incubus?
I ignored him. The Demon Lord was taunting me, tempting me to get angry. Still, I concentrated on Matthew's eyes, knowing Matthew was still in there somewhere. Matthew, I know you're in there. You can fight this. I know you can. I could see a small glimmer in Matthew's eyes, proving that I was right. I smiled and pressed my hand against the wall of the barrier, trying to press myself against the magic blocking from Matthew from me. Listen to me. You can stop this. You can do this yourself. I began to fill with hope. Despite my words also reaching the Demon Lord, Matthew was listening, and I could only hope that my love was feeling his need to stop his father's control. The barrier beneath my hand slowly began to desolidify as my body slowly pressed into the wall and steadily barrel-rolled inside. Ah!
No!
Oh shit! Uh-oh. Oh god. I looked up, finding myself inside the barrier somehow. Looking around, seeing Matthew staring at me intensely, I gulped, knowing that the Demon Lord was still there, running Matthew's every movement, every word that ran from his lips. Still, I believed him. I slowly stood up and walked over to him, opened my arms for him. Matthew, I love you, and I'm here for you. Please break through this and come back to me. Please don't! I swear to God, if this is gonna end badly, I can't. Let this be like an Inuyasha ending in the movie, please, for the love of God. Slowly, Matthew walked forward, slowly reaching out his hands for me. I could see the desperation in his eyes as he still listened. Yes, that was it! I walked forward and held his hands before feeling them slide up on my cheeks, warming my face with his palms.
You.
Please don't! Please don't! For a moment, the glimmer in his blue eyes filled my heart with joy. The next, a shiver, sudden dread ran up my spine.
You are so pathetic.
Fuck! I didn't get a chance to do anything before his hands gripped my head and twisted it back, snapping my neck and killing me.
No!
So, by the way, people in my comment section spoiled this for me. That's why I'm not reacting so badly to it right now, but yeah. Well, I died. Let's try this again, shall we? Okay, so I went back to where I decided to smack Matthew, which I'm supposed to kiss him, so now let's see what will happen. I had to break him out whatever spell was consuming his mind, and there was no way in hell I was going to smack him. Instead, I took his head into my hands and pulled him into a kiss, locking our lips with him, shutting my eyes. I didn't understand what made me do this, but I was determined to make it work. I waited, and waited, until finally Matthew wrapped his arms around me and leaned into the kiss, letting me know he would possibly broke through. I opened my eyes slightly to see his eyes close, and his arms around my waist were secure and loving, just like how I remembered. As I slowly pulled away, Matthew opened his eyes and revealed their loving ocean blue color. Perfect, however, his cheeks were a lovely contrast of red.
Hi.
Oh, I smiled a bit, giggling. Hey, what happened? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just looking at the fire. It's pretty warm.
And that's how we know it's not fine. Okay, so now we're back into the barrier, and let's see what happens this time. I walked forward and held his hands before feeling them slide up my cheeks, warming my face with his palms.
Ew.
For a moment, a glimmer of blue eyes filled my heart with joy. I gripped his hands in desperate for him to hang on to the fight. Finally, Matthew gritted his teeth and released my face, gripping his head.
Get out of my head!
Yes, Matthew, yes! Okay. Matthew! I rushed over, wrapping my arms around his back as Matthew sank onto his knees, digging his fingers into his hair. I could hear Diana trying to see what was going on, but my body managed to block her view. Really? I thought we were tiny, but okay. Matthew looked up at the wall and snarled.
Get out!
Whoa. Matthew shouted at the sky, arching his back and releasing a large red wave of energy from his body. It zipped into the air and broke free of the barrier, circling over the ceiling like a thundercloud. In quick response, Diana pointed her hand out and formed a large purple orb in her hand before tossing at the energy, capturing it in another cage and letting it hit the ground locked inside. My focus, however, was on Matthew. He panted and coughed, clasping over his neck and chest in pain and shutting his eyes tightly. I barely noticed the sound of Matthew's brothers and their wives running in to see what happened. I lifted Matthew in my arms and caught his eyes as he opened them, seeing the man I loved once again back in my arms. Matthew very slowly let a grin run across his face and lifted his hand to cup my cheek.
Hey, beautiful.
Oh, he's so sweet! It's so cute. My breath hitched as I quickly fell forward and wrapped my arms around Matthew, uncaring that the barrier was around us and slowly began to dispel by Diana. Matthew wrapped his arms around my form, hugging me tightly and kissing over my neck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The moment seemed to last forever, a private world of me and Matthew in each other's arms, desperate to not let go. However, Diana's voice caused us to slowly separate and look up at her.
Not that I care that I'm breaking this moment apart, but we have more important things to do than this.
Yeah, it's true. As much as, we want to be fluffy and all, we can't do that now. Diana rolled her eyes and looked at the orb that held the Demon Lord's control energy, staring into it with a piercing gaze.
I will take care of this, but I'm positive that this is not all of it. After all, he did control you enough to kill.
I felt myself slump over. She really wasn't going to forgive him, but she was right. The Demon Lord's control was ultra powerful. Who knew how much control he really had? Diana sighed and willed the orb away into the air before looking to us.
Well then, I've spent enough time fixing this. Now I must prepare for a war. Excuse me.
Diana nodded to us, left without another word. Matthew, however, grinned at me and nuzzled my forehead.
I guess I really did need saving after all.
See, it's okay to ask for help. Jesus. I knocked my head, showing that it was not true. I was there to help, not there to save. I kissed Matthew's cheek and smiled. I only help you to do it on your own. You broke his control over you, not me. We chuckled for each other, slowly standing up, happy to be in each other's arms at last. James, however, stepped forward with a frown, causing Matthew to release me. Uh-oh.
Matthew, I apologize for not being a proper brother for you and treating you with the respect you deserve.
Aww.
I would never want you to not trust me or the others.
In agreement, the other brothers stepped up and nodded, shamefully as well. Matthew stared at all of them in shock before kissing my cheek and stepping forward to them.
Hey. You're my brothers. We're supposed to support and protect each other, right?
That's sweet. All five of them smiled at each other, and as I felt myself needing a rest once more, I held the wall, slightly maintaining my balance as I shook my head and looked up at the brothers, seeing them happily rekindle their brotherly love they had before. Looked to the wives, winking before sneaking out. Matthew needed some time with his brothers to settle some differences. I would wait for him in the room. To do it, right? Alright. I began my way back to the room, but stopped as I heard the sound of whispers voices sneaking out through a barely open door.
So, we're all in agreement?
Okay, this is the other thing that happened. I think I only saw this in Sam's route so far. I didn't see it in Eric's, where the advisors are talking amongst themselves because they think that Diana's corrupted. Because they believe that if you're around, like, aggression and war and all that shit, like, bad stuff all the time, that you'll adopt that and become like that. So they fear that Diana will become like the Demon Lord and just become insane. Which to a degree I get, but when we ask them, like, do they have any evidence of this happening, and they say no. And which is why I always end up in Sam's route, I ended up supporting Diana because I felt like at least I know what Diana was like in Eric's route and Sam's route, so I'm just like, I think I can trust her. But they got mad and then just made me forget about everything. Finally returned to our room and flopped onto the bed, letting the events of my time in the Abyssal Plains replay in my mind. I had been trapped here, and as soon enough, I was about to go marching into battle against the Demon Lord for my freedom. The more I thought about it, the more surreal the feeling became. I was going to be in a room, meeting a powerful advisor face to face, and set myself free of the curse that he brought down upon me. What made my head spin was the fact that Matthew had been underneath an influence of his father and mother's control. It was beyond imaginary, yet it happened. I couldn't believe it, but I had no choice but to come to terms with it. As Matthew entered the room at last, I smiled and stood, walking over and wrapping my arms around him as he returned to my embrace.
You're the best person in the entire universe.
Aww.
You know that?
Matthew's really sweet and very fluffy. I kind of like that. You are too, Matthew. We held each other, locked in silence and unable to say anything more. We had been in a heavy predicament, and we escaped. Sure, the Demon Lord may have still had some sway over Matthew, but it wasn't enough to control him now. All we could do in the moment was hold each other and listen to our synchronized heartbeats. As the thought of tomorrow danced in my head, I began to fear it more. Was I ready to go into battle? Was Matthew? Were any of us, for that matter? We were about to walk into a final battle of a world war. Would we survive? Would I live to see Matthew afterwards and feel his embrace again? Tomorrow brought too many questions to think about, and I became frustrated and scared. Sin! Let's go! Let's add another, we're just trash. You know what? At this point, we can't use a bin. I think we need a garbage dump because it's too big. That's what she said, by the way. I needed to hold him and treat him to treat the night like it was our last of the world. Tomorrow was unpredictable, but tonight was guaranteed. I guided Matthew back into the side on the bed, looking up at him before slowly easing out of my shirt. Locking eyes with him, I slowly began to strip for him. His breath became slightly hitched as he watched, obeying my silent demand to keep his eyes on me. As I finally became bare from the waist up, I pressed my hands onto the bed and slid back, letting my legs onto the mattress and holding them out for him to do the honors. I tilted my head, letting him get the picture as I dangled my legs out for him. Matthew let out a shy sigh before nodding and biting his lower lip, crawling onto the bed, grasping my clothes and sliding them off my legs, leaving me completely bare for him. As he tossed my clothes to the side, I settled back onto the bed and held my arms out to him. Come here. Obediently, Matthew followed, kneeling between my legs and pressing his hands on both sides of my body, staring deep into my eyes and making me become lost in his gorgeous blue irises. I slowly danced my arms around his shoulder and felt his skin slightly heat up beneath my hands and making me slightly smirk up at my loving incubus. I'm all yours. I want you to take all of me. The carnal desire that flashed in his eyes before making my body shudder even before his enthrallment began to settle into my body and completely encase my core in desire.
I don't deserve you.
What is wrong with all these boys? Why do they all say, we don't deserve you? Shut up, okay? and our words became muffled, lost in the air, and pressed in his lips against mine, and quickly became discarded in jeans, joining me in bare exposure to taking in my scent and relishing the feeling of skin against mine. However, what surprised me was him turning me over and wrapping his arms around my waist, hugging me back against his chest. I took the hint to grip onto the bedpost and arch my back for ambition. Okay, I'm okay. I'm just laughing because if you haven't gone to Tumblr on Michaela's Tumblr or search up right now, I swear, Seduce Me Ask, because that's all the questions that all the fans have sent to Michaela about the boys that are not in the story. So everything they like, they dislike, and stuff like that. I'm just laughing because I just remember reading one for the boys and smut. Good lord. Okay, I'm okay. And then pleasure racked through me, and I became moaning mess in his arms. The bed rocked harder against the wall, and I dug my nails into the wood that took in his love with our lovemaking. My heart sung arises of love as my core screamed songs of ecstasy for the man taking me. God damn it. Okay. This was indeed our last night in the demon world, so we would relish the feeling of the magic and lust meddling around us as we soared into euphoria. Even as we angled ourselves to lock lips, our inhibitor became lost in the air. We became rough, rapid, and roared into pleasure and rushed through us, quickly washing through our peaks once and twice, 3 times. We didn't care to count farther, losing our senses within our arms. As our ride had to end, we settled onto the mattress, panting and grasping. The natural Mexican sweat danced in the air as we slowly cuddled together and relaxed into the sheets beneath our bodies. Good lord, Matthew. Oh god, I can't stop laughing. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I was dizzy, swimming in the ocean of joy and love, with Matthew's arms causing me to nuzzle my head beneath his and kiss over his Adam apple. I'll always be here in your arms.
And I'll be here in yours.
Oh, so
I promise.
cute. I can't take it. Oh god. A sense of hope and courage wrapped us around the night, laced with our undying commitment for each other. We would survive. We will be okay. I felt safe in Matthew's arms, and I was sure that he felt safe in mine. We would return to the human world and be okay. Tomorrow would decide everything. Let's see how much I fuck up this time. Please, Soto, I swear to god, if Shadow fucks up in this route too, I will hate him forever. Because I'm really mad at him after, going through Sam's route. Like, oh my god.
Yes, my lady.
Man, well, I'm nervous. How about you?
So, during the siege, like the other routes, we have to fight in case there is an enemy, just to make sure that our incubus can save their energy when they fight the Demon Lord. Just in the same case with Matthew. Obviously, he doesn't want that to happen. Yeah. Matthew wrapped an arm around my waist and turned my body to him, hugging me closely.
Hey, everything will be okay. Alright?
Your cute face says it will be okay, but is that true, though? I don't know. I listened to him speak before nodding and taking in a deep breath. Everything would be okay. We would be fine. I had to believe in myself and get us to the castle when the time was right. Okay, so now we're going to start the battle. Diana did her awesome speech and she flew into the castle. Now we're going to take the side and possibly not die. I don't know, though.
Took his dead body a couple times for me, alright? Right in the head.
Sam still kills me. However, I didn't care at that moment. All I could focus on were the imps that had successfully stopped and intimidated with my animal. Move out of my way! I jutted my hand forward, pointing at the imps that are stunned by my animal's cry. I command my animal forward. Yes, the wolf! Go! This is like, I just like so cool. It's like having a dire wolf and just unleashing them on them. Anyway, I rushed forward, causing my incubus to follow me, and my animal continued to claw and bite through the imps in our path, uncaring if they were attacked or frozen still from fear. The moment the imps fell, the more the reinforcements became shell-shocked. Some managed to drive their weapons into my animal, causing me to flinch and reel back from the pain. I pressed forward, knowing that it would be all right in the end. My animal pushed forward. I kind of want to call it a wolf. My wolf pushed forward as well, animalistic in its carnage. The remaining imps began to quake and step back in fear, most likely never seeing a human use magic to slowly decimate their numbers. I didn't seem to mind as they became open targets for my wolf to strike down as we rushed onward towards the castle. My incubus, despite probably being surprised by my wolf's carnage, followed and continued forward, commanding my wolf through every imp that came in our way. I had lost count on how many we had crossed us, but I didn't care. All I cared about was getting to the castle. By the time we reached the front gates, there were a slew of dead bodies behind us. I stood at the tree line, panting and feeling waves of lost energy echo through my body as my wolf began to slowly fade away. I watched as my wolf stared at me, its eyes asking if it had done well. I smiled and nodded before it bowed its head and disappeared from my sight, unable to maintain its form any longer with my energy fueled to it. That was all I could do before my energy was expanded and waves of exhaustion rolled through my body. I began to fall forward, exhausted. My fiancé, however, quickly rushed forward and caught me in his arms.
Whoa! Are you alright?
Huh? I looked up to see Matthew staring down at me, fear and concern dancing in his eyes. We were safe for the moment, so I merely smiled up at him with a nod. I'm fine. I promise to protect you, like you protect me. Matthew let out a small laugh before pressing his forward against mine.
What would I ever do without you?
Aww, I have to say aw every time with Matthew because he's so cute. I hugged him back, feeling the relief that we had finally arrived at the castle. We were about to rush inside. As we slowly pulled away, Matthew lifted me up and helped me to my feet.
Come on. You ready?
Are you ready? Is this Chris Angel? Where is he?
Are you ready?
I nodded, shaking off the exhaustion from my mind. I was ready to end this. I looked up at the castle gates and felt the rush of determination run through me. Let's go finish this. With that, Matthew and I rushed forward into the castle. The final battle had begun. Oh god, here we go! Oh god, okay. We quickly rushed into the Demon Lord's castle, desperate to get inside and aid Diana fighting the Demon Lord. As we rushed in, however, we stopped to see Diana and the Demon Lord standing off. Diana had a saber tightly gripped in one hand while she glared daggers into her opponent. The Demon Lord carried a large smirk on his face as he stood on the dais of his throne. As Matthew and I entered, his smirk grew that much wider. It's his mom! Matthew, however, seemed to care more about the woman kneeling on the ground beside the Demon Lord with her hands on her knees, frowning at him.
Mother!
Ah! There he is! My son!
Get him out of here now!
What? I stared at Diana as she continued to face the Demon Lord. What was she talking about? The Demon Lord simply laughed and pointed at Matthew.
Well, what are you waiting for? Claim your throne!
Uh-oh.
What are you talking?
At that moment, Matthew's body pulsed and fainted in blue light. He curled over his body and gripped his head, digging his fingers into his hair. Matthew? Matthew was wrong! Oh god.
Get him out of here!
I rushed to Matthew, now terrified of what was happening. Before I could place my hands on his shoulders, however, Matthew vanished into a dissipating after image. What? Huh? Whoa! The sound of steel clashing caused me to turn to Matthew and Diana clashing swords. Diana gritted her teeth as Matthew glared into her gaze.
Damn it, fool!
I said, take your throne!
Oh, what the fuck? Matthew's body pulsed again, forcing him to push Diana against the center, flying back to stand beside me. As Diana reached to me, she moved my hand in front of me, blocking me from Matthew. Matthew! Matthew looked at me and Diana, his expression twitching from trying to maintain control of himself, his eyes flickering between the blue and gold as he gripped onto the sword tightly. I wasn't afraid of him, so I stepped up from Diana and walked towards him, holding my hands out. Matthew, it's okay, you can overcome this.
Stay back.
Oh god! I ignored him and continued to walk forward, needing him to be okay. Whatever the spell the Demon Lord had on him wasn't powerful enough to consume him. I needed to break his entire hold on him once and for all. Fight it, Matthew. You're strong enough to beat this. Matthew dropped his sword and gripped his head, digging his fingers into his hair and curling over himself. He scratched his nails over his horns and angry and aggravated.
I don't want to hurt you.
You won't, Matthew. I know you won't. At last, I stepped in front of Matthew's body. I gently lifted his head and cupped his face in both of my hands. His face was warm and felt the mental struggle in his eyes as he flickered between blue and gold. I trusted him, though. Matthew loved me, and his love would crash through his spell. Let me help you. I quickly leaned in and kissed Matthew's head, making him gasp and freeze within my arms. I felt myself slowly drain of my remaining energy, but I didn't care. Matthew needed it more than me. If I was able to free him, then I would. The air around us became lighter and easier to breathe. Even as we separated, I stared into Matthew's eyes, seeing him stare wide-eyed at me in shock. They were completely painted in gold, causing my heart to tighten for a moment. Did he break it?
Enough of this! Kill her!
Fuck you, dude! As the Demon Lord's voice reverberated in the air, a large sword embedded itself into the Demon Lord's stomach.
What the?
Yes! Oh my god! Okay, I was scared that it didn't work. Oh, okay, this is good. Okay. Matthew looked back at his father, his hands extended out towards him. As his eyes finally regained their ocean blue color, my heart began to jump in ecstatic joy. Matthew had broken free from the spell his father trapped him under. Thank God.
How can this be? Impossible!
You expected me to follow your orders, you sick bastard!
I stared wide-eyed as Matthew turned around and summoned a new weapon into his fist. A dark blue aura emanated from his body, flickering like flames as he stared into the Demon Lord down.
You will never convince me to kill the ones I love.
Yay! I did it! Okay.
Insolent brat!
The Demon Lord gritted his teeth before sharply extending his hand towards Matthew's mother. We could only watch as the red and thrilled chains shot out from the Demon Lord's back and towards Zara, wrapping around her form and crushing her.
No!
Oh god, what the fuck?
Your energy, woman!
Faster than we could react, the red lightning began to surround and shock Ezra's bound form. The red energy traveled through the chains and holding her hostage into the Demon Lord's body, making him glow a terrifying blood color. A large sword formed in the Demon Lord's hand, arcing with red lightning. Matthew's first sword, which had impaled the Demon Lord's stomach, crumbled into ashes and fell to the floor, leaving a black scar mark. The Demon Lord's eyes, however, fixed themselves on Matthew's form with a deadly intent.
I'll kill you!
Shit! Dude, you don't, hurt his mother! What the fuck's wrong with you? Oh my god. Faster than I thought it imaginable, Matthew stepped forward and vanished, only to reappear in front of the Demon Lord with his sword held high. As Matthew swung his weapon down, however, the Demon Lord held out his hand and forced Matthew back with a burst of red energy. Matthew skidded backwards crossing his sword over his body, shielding himself from the blast. As the energy faded, the Demon Lord's lips curled into a crazed smirk.
Then come, little boy! Show me what you can...
The Demon Lord stopped, staring at Matthew as his body froze. I hitched my breath. What was happening?
Enough.
What? Everyone turned their heads towards Matthew's mother, seeing her hold the chain that connected her to the Demon Lord in a tight grip. Her body was shaking, but the rage in her eyes could make any demon fall to their knees.
I will not let you hurt my son!
That's right! Fuck this guy! Before the Demon Lord could turn to do something, a large bolt of blue energy shot through the chain into the Demon Lord's back, causing him to arch back and scream in pain. I feel like the Demon Lord is like Wolverine in the movies, because you know, the epitome of like Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, is just him screaming. That's it. Matthew grabbed onto me and covered me with his body as Diana blocked her face with her arms. The magic was so powerful the room began to shake violently. I watched from the cracks of Matthew's arms as the dark black and red energy traveled down the chain from the Demon Lord into Ezra's body, making her body pulse and grow in power. The Demon Lord, however, became weaker and surprisingly became much more frail.
You are... my...
I am not yours! Any
Yes!
longer!
Yes, you don't need no man. Fuck this guy. Another heavy blue ball rushed through the chain into the Demon Lord's body, causing a splash of blood to jut from the Demon Lord's mouth. Oh my god. Matthew finally stepped away from me and began to walk to the Demon Lord, forming a sword in his hand. As he did, the Demon Lord collapsed onto the floor on his hands and knees and growled animalistically at his son.
It's over.
What surprised me was the smirk that graced the Demon Lord's bleeding lip and the chuckle that erupted from it.
You are indeed the perfect son.
You said that about everybody, shut up. Without another word, Matthew raised his sword and rammed it into the Demon Lord's neck, effectively pinning him to the ground and killing him. A bubble cry of pain barely escaped the Demon Lord's mouth as his eyes glazed over and dead. My heart felt major relief, shaking a bit as the weight lifted off of my soul. The Demon Lord was dead at last. I was free and we could go home now. Diana spat to the side, catching my attention.
To think his own wife and son would be the ones to kill him. What have I been doing for the past 10 years?
Ah, shit, Diana's pissed, because that's right, she wanted revenge for her family. I mean, at least he's dead, I guess? Like, oh god, I don't know. I couldn't stop the amused smile on my face as Diana walked up beside me, rubbing her neck in irritation. You weakened him a bit for them, I'm sure. Diana rolled her eyes as Matthew finally rushed up at the dais towards his mother.
Mother!
Aww. His mother wrapped his arms around Matthew, squeezing him to her. Matthew hugged her back just as tightly and kind, joyous to see her free from the Demon Lord's power. This is not over. I can feel the Demon Lord creeping in the background.
I'm right here. It's gonna be okay.
I was beyond happy for Matthew. His mother was safe now. The Demon Lord was defeated. I could feel some sort of weight lift off my shoulders, knowing that the curse had been broken with his death. I smiled as I watched Azera cry into Matthew's arms. Before I could step forward to join them, however, Diana placed her hand in front of me, glaring ahead at her. I looked up at her with a very surprised face. Diana?
Stay back.
I knew it! This is too good to— Oh no, what do I do? I need to save. Fuck, because I'm probably gonna make a mistake here. I feel like, should I listen to Diana or go to Matthew? Okay, let's listen to— okay, let's listen to Diana. I'm probably gonna get the bad ending again, right? Oh my god. I nodded, unsure why she wanted me to stay away. However, the intense expression on her face sent fearful chills down my spine as she scolded at Matthew and his mother. Was something seriously wrong? Turned my head back to the pair, watching and wondering what was going on.
My sweet Sakeru. You're finally home.
Of course I am. I had to save you, right?
Ezra smiled back and kissed Matthew's forehead, slowly rising to her feet with him. As she fully stood, something in the air changed. The room became a little more peaceful and bright as Matthew turned towards me and Diana.
I guess I can finally introduce you to my fiancée. She helped in saving you.
Ezra smiled very softly and looked to Diana, passing me over. What? I felt a little anger at being ignored, but I understood. She wouldn't expect a human to be my future wife.
The princess of Lilith's kingdom is your intended?
Matthew's face is like, what the fuck?
What? No, not her.
Before Matthew could step forward, however, Ezra's face delicately scrunched up at the sight of me. What the?
Why is a human here?
Okay, I don't know if this has to do anything with the bad ending, but I'm aware that the demons don't like humans, because, I think Michaela explained this on Tumblr. She said that they don't don't like humans, especially in Sam's, like, good ending, what happens there, if you know what I'm talking about. Many of them don't like her because she is a human, but they can't say anything because, you know, about Sam and whatever, so.
Huh? Mom, that's my fiance.
The atmosphere suddenly changed again. The air became colder and something wasn't right. Something in Azera's eyes changed, too, becoming hard and vicious.
A human?
Yeah?
Azera locked eyes with me and I suddenly gasped and became lost in my mind, detached from my body. I couldn't move or anything, speak a single word, with her eyes remaining in their icy blue color. Oh god, what was happening?
Human. Who are you?
What? I'm no one. I'm an army slut, used for energy and sex. Oh god, what? Matthew stared at me, completely shocked at what I had said. I, however, could only stare at Azera, whose gaze continued to burn into mine.
You are not expecting to be with my son, correct?
A human like me is not worthy.
Dimitera iam.
Instantly, my mind, it was my own again, and I released my grasp of surprise. I collapsed into Diana's arms as she reached out to catch me. Ezra looked at Diana, offense clearly written across her features.
How dare you!
Matthew, get away from her!
What is going on?
Uh-oh. Oh god, what is happening? I looked up at his watch as I glanced down at her own son and placed a hand on his chest. Her hand was engulfed in a dark blue glow that spread across the taint on Matthew's skin. Some of its sort of invisible force pulled Matthew back and slammed his body onto the Demon Lord's throne. Oh no. Matthew! No! His body... what the fuck is wrong with his mother, dude? I was cheering for you! Jesus! As his body became the rest against it, the blue chains wrapped around his throne and locked his Matthew's body. The chains began to glow and tightly around him, locking him in place.
Filthy human bitch! You don't belong in this world, and you will never have my son!
Wow! This girl went from 0 to 100 real quick. What the fuck? I was cheering for you earlier! What the fuck, dude?
Mother, what are you?
Your mother's not here anymore, Matthew.
What?
She's been connected to the Demon Lord for too long.
Okay.
She's gone mad.
Yeah.
Mad! I am speaking truth! The king of the demon world has no need for a disgusting human!
What?
King of the demon world?
I'm afraid you are mistaken.
How am I mistaken? The demon lord is dead, so his son must take the throne!
The Demon Lord is dead. The rebellion has usurped the throne. Your son no longer has claim to it.
The rebellion merely paved the way for the true king to ascend to the throne. My son was always destined to take it, and your little siege helped him achieve his fate.
Mother, stop!
Enough, Sekedu!
The chains around Matthew's body tightened as he winced and choked out a gasp of pain. I instantly reached out to try to move towards him, but Diana held me back, protesting me still. Zara looked over at him with a sad expression, tears almost filling her eyes.
When you left, I was so alone. I didn't understand. I always asked, why? Why did my own son leave me here? You broke my heart. But then I realized it was part of your destiny.
Mother...
You were merely preparing to take the throne. You needed to experience the human world before returning and taking your rightful place when the time was right. That's why you joined the rebellion.
No, that's not true. I came because the Demon Lord cursed.
Listen to yourself. You are a demon, Sekedu. You are the son of the Demon Lord, destined for greatness. Why are you fighting this?
Matthew pulled and struggled against the chains he was trapped under, no longer answering his mother. Ezra, however, turned to me and Diana, rage dancing within her eyes.
You poisoned his mind. You enslaved my son!
Bitch, you need to calm down! What the fuck? What? It wasn't true. I loved him and he loved me. This wasn't supposed to happen. Why was Matthew's mother doing this? Was she truly insane? God damn, why are the in-laws like insane? What the fuck? Diana placed an arm around my shoulder, causing me to look up at her.
Don't bother listening to her. Her mind has been consumed by madness.
And you, Princess of Lilith! You dare oppose this kingdom? You swore your allegiance to the heir of the Demon Lord, yet you march here with an army bent on destroying the kingdom that you had pledged yourself to!
The Demon Lord broke his promise and murdered my family while I was in the human world doing his dirty work.
Yup.
My vow changed accordingly, and I swore that I would see his kingdom fall. A whipped woman like you would never understand.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Diana, I love you! Oh my god.
Whipped! I merely waited for the chance to kill him so that my son could take his rightful place. Let's not forget that I was the one to strike the final blow on the bastard!
I am warning you now. Stand down.
Okay, I'm very sorry, but I'm gonna have to end the episode right here. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god. What the fuck? His mother's... Oh my god, I can't believe this. Why are the brothers' family, like, really fucking insane? Like, their parents, like, what the fuck? Okay, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Seduce Me. If you did, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Please do not spoil in the comments, I swear to god, because one of the bad endings for Matthew was already spoiled for me, and that kind of just made me not want to play the game for a long time, which is why I've been taking so long to record it. So, if you could please, if you want to discuss spoilers, you're welcome to. Just say a spoiler tag for everything, or I'm gonna have to block you, I don't care. Like, I can't take it anymore. A lot of people are being assholes in my comment section, so... if you're being an asshole to me or anyone else, you're getting banned for life. I don't care anymore. We'll continue this madness in the next episode, alright? Bye, guys!